Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Coin News Extra TV Interview Session, a program where we invite innovators, stakeholders, influencers in the blockchain, crypto, and fintech ecosystem to come air their view on the state of the ecosystem. So today we're going to be looking at investment opportunities for blockchain startups. We'll see how it is that blockchain is an industry that is an emerging industry, and a lot of startups are emerging as well in this sector, and there are a lot of challenges that some of these startups face when it comes to raising funds from VCs and angel investors. So today we're going to be looking at that, and we have with us someone that has a great experience in that industry, in that area. Talking about Andre Junior Ayotte, who is a partner at Modus Capital, is joining us from Dubai. You are welcome, Andre.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. How is Dubai today?
Dubai is amazing.
Yeah, good to know. We are going to be looking at investment opportunities for blockchain startups. We see that this has already been existing for our fintech startups. So we are going to look at specifically at blockchain startups. How are they faring? How is this industry, this investment capital raising for how has it been for them? So, but before we do that, we'd like to get a brief about yourself and your background.
Okay, yeah, with pleasure. I think first and foremost, a quick shout out to you guys for what you're doing in the ecosystem. Part of educating the people with the right information is key, and you guys are doing an excellent job. So, shout out to Coin News. So, a brief about myself. I formerly in the financial sector. I was an investment banker in the past and segue into private equity venture capital in Africa. I've been doing that for the past 6.5 years. And recently structured a venture capital fund dedicated for Africa, backing startups leveraging blockchain and AI.
Yeah, interesting. That's very good. You are at a very good position to discuss this conversation. So let's look at when do you think is a very good time for blockchain startups to start looking for funds from VCs and angel investors?
Yeah, a very interesting question. I think the answer is it really depends. I think it depends on the founding team. When we look at blockchain and the tech, obviously having a founding team with strong tech background kind of helps to get going, to go from 0 to 1, and sometimes that allows you to bypass some of the VCers. But also, it's all about the strategy you have and what's the call for capital that you need at the startup. In our case, we're seed investors, so we're quite early on investors, and the reason we do that is it enables us to kind of plug in our ecosystem in the blockchain area. So depending on the protocol, to be able to build the right startup with the right architecture from the get-go. And then we're also follow-on investor, meaning that post-seed, so Series A, Series B, we also follow on those winners. So it really depends, but for us, we like to get involved early and be able to help the founders early on to have the right tech.
Yeah, interesting. Let's look at this. How do VCs assess blockchain startups before investing? We see that in blockchain there are now options. Even some startups go for both. Yeah, some go for equity and also some go for coin investment. We see how do you assess startups, most especially blockchain startups, before investing? Seeing that there are many options when it comes to investing in blockchain startup, the token aspect and also the equity aspect.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I think every investors have kind of their secret sauce, what they look into, but what we target and what we focus on is really traditional businesses and startups, such as a Web2 company solving a problem that's very particular in Africa or within the communities, but leveraging the Web3 technologies to solve that problem, to be able to leapfrog. So we really have an equity investment thesis, and then we take tokens if there's a token issuance at the top. So far, we haven't seen that many pure decentralized token projects in Africa. Maybe that will come with time, but right now, where we see the greatest opportunities for the application of blockchain is merging the Web2 with the Web3.
Okay, interesting. That's very nice. Let's look at the current state of the crypto market. We see that most of the blockchain companies are mostly into cryptocurrency. I know some Web2 platform are also leveraging blockchain to solve Web2 challenges.
Yeah.
Do you think it is a very ripe time for investors? Are they still investing, most especially seeing how the cryptocurrency market is currently?
Yeah, I mean, this year I think everybody's aware, whether you're in crypto or not, that this has been a big crash for the crypto ecosystem this year. But I think it's really important for people to recognize the difference between cryptocurrencies and really the tech that's driving it, which is the blockchain tech. If we look in the case in Africa and other emerging markets, that technology, blockchain, the distributed ledger component, is extremely impactful across sectors and segments and communities and in Africa. So again, I think it's also part of educating investors to demystify between cryptocurrencies and what blockchain could actually do outside of cryptocurrencies. And we put ourselves in that position as well with our LPs and investors to continue educating on the market and the tech.
Interesting. Let's look at this. We know that the current crypto market has not been stable, and also a lot of things are happening, a lot of news that are coming up. And I know it's not only in the crypto market, also the stock market is also having its own blow there. Let's look at what's your general opinion and observations when it comes to blockchain startup investment
Yeah.
ecosystem?
We've been, just as an investor, we've been looking at the Web3 ecosystem for the last 4 or 5 years. And it wasn't until about 2 years back that we realized that the technology, blockchain, as well as the cryptocurrencies, is a perfect fit for the African ecosystem. And I think it's back to the concept that tech is actually helping solve critical problems across sector, health tech, fintech, logistics, and so forth. So we've seen adoption rate just booming in the ecosystem, not just in crypto, but also blockchain technology and startups. We're currently looking at a health tech for an investment that's leveraging the technology to kind of decentralize all the health records and giving it back control to the people for their own health data. So those are examples that are meaningful and important. And we just see growth. It continues to grow year over year. Even this year, we had incredible important performances, some of the startups we looked at. And adoption in crypto keeps going, even this year.
Yeah, interesting. Before we draw the curtain on today's episode of Coin News Extra TV interview session, I would like to get your opinion. You know, recently Modus Capital raised some fund for Africa to invest in African blockchain startups. So, what are the strategies around that, and what are the mission and vision about that?
I can't really speak of other funds. Everybody has their own thesis. They see different opportunities and they have their own secret sauce. But for us, really our thesis was driven by data, what we're seeing on the continent, and that led us to be seed investors in blockchain and AI. And we're also really, really focused on impact. And we believe that impact and financial returns could go hand in hand. And those techs are actually key enablers for impact. It enables us to invest in companies that have higher training with higher skilled workers. When we're in the tech, we see them making greater impacts in the communities and faster. So, that's part of our DNA. I can't speak too much about other funds, but I can say, though, that the more people and the more investors internationally that are starting to recognize the importance of investing in Africa and VC, the better for everybody and the better for the ecosystem. So I encourage people to continue.
Yeah, interesting. There are a lot of opportunities in the African market,
Indeed.
not only in the blockchain space, and also and the fintech space as well. A lot of things are happening, a lot of ideas, and a lot of innovations. And so that's one of the reasons we're also here. We are here to tell the African stories in an innovative way. So thank you very much, Andre Ayotte, for joining us today on the conversation.
Well, I thank you and I applaud you guys for the work you're doing. Keep at it.
Okay, thank you very much.